This monument of Chester Alan Arthur, our 21st president, is located in Madison Square Park in Manhattan. Created by George Bissell and dedicated in 1899, it remains as one of New York City's few presidential monuments. We know that many sculptors of presidential monuments incorporated elements into their work to draw comparisons between the U.S. presidents and Roman leaders. Statues of Roman leaders such as Julius Caesar and Emperor Titus probably influenced the work of artists charged with creating presidential monuments. This can be seen in the works by Horatio Greenough, who depicted George Washington wearing a toga, as a Roman leader would, and Jean Houdin, who created a statue of George Washington with his arm on a column, something that's associated with Roman architecture. This use of symbolism is not exclusive to the work of Greenough or Houdin. In fact, we can see it in many other sculptures of U.S. presidents, such as Abraham Lincoln, James Garfield, and Thomas Jefferson. All three have one hand on a column. This use of symbolism is the artist's attempt to imply a connection between the U.S. presidents and their ancient Roman counterparts, pointing out the similarities between the United States and the ancient Roman Empire. As we have seen, American presidents have been depicted in ways that draw a connection between them and powerful Roman leaders. However, there are other, more subtle connections between Roman leaders and presidents. In some monuments, we can see elements that sculptors have used to draw a connection between the role of Roman leaders and the role of a president. Before the rule of Julius Caesar, the Romans had a form of government called a republic, in which there were a few consuls and a senate. Here you can see a few images of Cicero addressing the Roman Senate in an attempt to indict Catiline. In the second and third image, Cicero seems to have a piece of paper or scrolls in his hand as he addresses the Senate. They could be nothing, but I think that they symbolize this: the 12 Tables. The 12 Tables were a code of law written and used by the ancient Romans. According to Roman tradition, the law of the 12 Tables was the ancient legislation that stood at the foundation of Roman law. The tables consolidated earlier traditions into an enduring set of laws. They are considered to have had an important influence in the foundation of Western civil and criminal law. We can see the incorporation of a scroll or pieces of paper in a few statues of Julius Caesar, the statue of Emperor Titus from earlier, and of course the images of Cicero. The Romans lived by this law, so of course their leaders would be holding it. If we take a closer look at some of the statues from earlier in this video, you can see the incorporation of a book or pieces of paper. In some, it seems that they are being referred to by the president depicted. These books and pieces of paper most likely represent the Constitution. Their inclusion in the monuments implies that the president depicted used the Constitution to guide them during their presidency. Support for this idea of books or pieces of paper representing important American documents comes from the Statue of Liberty. The tablet is meant to represent the Declaration of Independence, which outlines the basic rights and freedoms of all U.S. citizens. It's reasonable to believe, then, that the books and papers seen in presidential monuments probably represent the Constitution. This conveys to the viewer that the role of the president is to uphold the Constitution, to protect the rights and freedoms of American citizens. An artist who includes this symbolism in their work is most likely implying that the president in question did just that. In this monument, Chester Alan Arthur holds a book in his left hand. In this and many other presidential monuments, the inclusion of a book or pieces of paper are meant to portray the U.S. presidents to current and future viewers as historical figures who upheld the Constitution and defended their rights.